discuss a very important topic. Are beautiful places in the world only beautiful because they have a limited access to humans, or they are beautiful naturally? So, first of all, I'm going to start with keeping my views on this topic. I think that the beautiful places which we see around us are only beautiful because they have limited access to the humans, and the places on which many people visit or many people inhabit the places, those places are not as beautiful, as picturesque as the places which are in the remote areas, or which are not much touched by human interference. So I think that the places which are isolated, they are differently located from from the areas where humans are inhabited. Those places are very much beautiful as compared to the places where humans live. So what do you think about this?
I guess there is no doubt that the places which are untouched by humans. So when we say untouched, I guess we are automatically talking about untouched by humans, because animals, of course, they are the part of the forest and the other scenic areas. So they are, of course, they are untouched. That's why they are beautiful. And I guess right now it's more like focus for us, I guess, in this discussion is to prove it. And I guess we can prove it by different examples. So if you guys want to take ahead with the examples.
Sure.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can take as many examples as I can, because I've seen a lot of places, most definitely in these two areas where the places are inhabited by humans, and the places which only are some few people or almost none of the people visit. So, like for example, if I consider to differentiate between two cities, a city which has a lot more population and a city which has a small amount of populations, if both the places are equally developed, are equally engineered in such a way that they both have equal technologies, then too the places which are more populated are not much scenic, are not much beautiful as compared to the places which are habitated by a small amount of population. Because with a lot more population, a lot more problems also come together, like garbage problems, littering problems, means of commute. Then with means of commute there comes a lot more problem of the pollution, because as till the time many amount of vehicles are moving on the road, more pollution is also done. So all these things, all these garbage and pollution hampers it hampers the scenic beauty of the place. So I think that as many people who are living in two different cities, that matters a lot, because the less amount of people who live in a place, that matters in deciding the scenic beauty, the attractiveness, and how much the scenic beauty is durable. Because if I consider two different places which have equal scenic beauty and they are inhabited by a different types of population, if two different cities are equal in size, equal in beauty, equal in technological developments, and both are inhabited by different amount of population, then the one which has a greater amount of population is sure it is sure that place will lack its scenic beauty much sooner, because more people will start littering and pollution too. So I think that we can differentiate between two cities with a lot more amount of population difference. Also, if I see some different scenic points, also like in a country where different where if you go towards the northern side, like the Arctic side or Antarctic side, almost no people are seen there. So these places are really beautiful, like the icebergs and the different kinds of flora and fauna there. So I think that the nature beauty is dependent on how much amount of population lives there.
Definitely, I do very well agree with you, Vardhan. And in my opinion, it's not just limited to natural beauty of the earth. even the places, even buildings or monuments that we have constructed, they look very beautiful until advent of human population occurs nearby or close to them. A typical example is the Taj Mahal. When the population was limited, when there was very limited factory allowed in the city, the monument was pristine in its beauty. It looked whiter than never before. But as we have seen gradually through the years, as human population has gathered more and more around it, and with the advent of the factories nearby, the beauty of Taj Mahal has been depleting. And I can definitely see like there needs to be now extra efforts taken to restore its beauty, and we have to restrict access to people, we have to restrict what goes in, because people don't uh, care so much about what they are bringing inside, or what they are doing with the monument, how they are treating it, because it's a national treasure. It brings in tourism, it raises the value of the country as well. So I do feel so that that problem, it does not just apply to natural beauty, but also man-made monuments as well, man-made places of interest. What do you think,
Yes,
Vidisha?
for conserving beauty of a place, for conserving the natural picturesque view of a place, we have to restrict the access of human that place. And also the nature also tries to restrict its the human access to it. Like we have seen the places which are a lot more beautiful, they are mostly situated at a hilly terrain, at a place where it is much more dangerous to visit. So not many people can even go there if they wanted to, because there is, like, if I consider if I consider Amarnath and Vaishno Devi
Yeah.
religious sites, those sites are situated in such a hilly terrain that there is no much bridges or roads or railway tracks up to that religious places, up to those scenic beauties. So humans have to go there on a horse or on by foot. So there is not much industrialization, not much factory building, pollution is there. So these kind of places are situated such a place where we cannot even try to build up such things. We cannot even try to build up roads. We have to first level up the land for making a railway tracks. You have to first see the connectivity, because those places are in such a remote area that there is no connectivity. No, even internet connection is also not there. It's such places. So even if humans want to go and live there in a high amount, they cannot even do it, because there are no types of roads, no bridges even. So, and these places are almost dangerous. There is a small kacha road in between, and on both sides there is nothing. You can even fall down. So these kinds of places are almost dangerous, but they are very beautiful. So some amount of population try to take the risk to reach there. So I think that as far as human access is limited to any kind of place, if I consider Switzerland, the Switzerland is really very beautiful. All of its in natural beauty, its mountains, its greenery, its flora and fauna, every different kind of thing we see in Switzerland. It's a very picturesque view. But these kind of places are not much inhabited by the humans. Only some small amount of visitors try to reach at these places every year, and these places are not even open for the visiting people all over the year. The governments try to keep it open for only 3 to 4 months in during a year at which the time is suitable for people visiting there, and the time is safer. Mostly these sites are opened up during the summer season when there is no rainfall, because these kinds of places are the hilly terrain in the mountainous areas. So if we start trying to reach them in the winter areas, winter time, then there will be snowfall problem, which may cause a lot of casualties too, because these kind of areas, I've told you, there's nothing of the construction sites there, no roads, no bridges, no railways. So there is some kind of a problem. People may face some casualties too. So these kind of places are keeping themselves safe by themselves, because they are not allowing much of the people to visit there. So I think that as far as humans can restrict themselves to reach these places and hamper their growth, hamper their natural beauty, these kinds of places will be very.
Right. I totally agree with what you said and what Pratik you contributed. So the thing is, what I feel that maybe it's not actually, it's right that it's because of the human interference, but it's not the fault of human, that I will say, because when human wants to live, human cannot live like an animal in the forest, right? Whenever you want to live in a city, in a at a place, you will actually make a cemented house. You would like to have a proper house, a proper shelter for you. Then the second thing is, we just can't eat raw meat or raw flesh like animals do. We have to eat the cooked food, and for the cooked food you actually need the gas pipelines or the electricity pipelines, and for all those stuff you need human interference. You need digging of the earth, or you need all these appliances for you, because you just can't live without them. So I guess it's not something as a fault of human, that I will say. It is just a necessity of human, that we require all of these things. And then to go to our workplace, we need cars, we need different mode of transports like bus or metro, or the rickshaws, or any means of transport we need. So for all this collectively is actually harming, of course, harming the nature. And that's why we are supporting the fact here that the places on the earth that are beautiful are actually beautiful because of the less hindrance from the humans.
Yeah.
So that's completely right, but I would say it's also not the fault of humans.
Yeah.
It's how they can live, they can survive.
Yes, humans have the necessity. I mean, there's a necessity for you to build up their homes out of cement, and you have to make some construction sites also for making up apartments for making humans live. You have to make markets. You have to build up big shopping malls, and for that you have to dig up ground. You have to construct. There will be a lot more pollution, but you cannot do anything about it. But I think that humans now are feeling much more helpless than they were before. We are thinking we are only seeing the side that we are helpless. We don't have any space to live. I totally agree with the point that population is increasing day by day. It is increasing at a very fast rate than it was before. The rate was higher. So we need space to construct more and more places to live, for more and more spaces for markets, for shopping malls. I agree with all the points, but humans now are thinking that they are much more helpless than they were before. They are not trying to see up the things from a different perspective of the nature. The nature also should be kept in a place, should also be kept preserved, because from the earlier times till the present time, not much of the nature is preserved. Every area of the forest is being cut down for construction sites. The trees are cut, and these scenic beauties which are around the human areas, the humans try to change these natural beautiful sites to the construction sites. So I think that if we should think wisely about choosing a site and try to build up apartments as far as possible, not to build up separate homes which would cover a lot of amount of area. Also, we should try to prioritize our construction sites. And I know that we have a problem, or we have a shortage of sites where we can construct our homes. We need a lot more area. So I think that we should first prioritize which natural sites we should keep preserved for the later generations to see, and sites we can which sites we can construct at this time. So I think that the most beautiful natural sites in our country should be kept preserved, and we should restrict ourselves to construction sites only at those places which are not much very beautiful, which are not much very far away from the human life, so that human doesn't interfere with the present natural habitats which are really beautiful. So I think that we have to think much about how to construct, how to interfere with the nature if we want to. So I think that if we have a necessity to build up our homes, we should do it wisely.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Vardhan. And the point I want to mention here is, as you said, it's yes, like how I mentioned it, that what can we do? It's the human necessity. When we are going to a place, we have to make homes, we have to travel, we have to transport, we have to do all these things. So it's not our fault. But no, yes, it's completely like it's not our fault 100%, but yes, we are at fault 60% of the time. That 40% of the time, which are our basic necessities like electricity, water, home, like shelter and everything, that is our necessities, and we can be forgiven for those 60% of the time that we are impacting the
Right.
natural beauty. But the 40% of the time, when for example we are cutting down the trees to make a beautiful showpiece for our home, that is wrong. It's like utilizing such a beautiful tree, a natural resource, to make a decorative piece at our home is totally wrong. So I would say these few examples when the human is actually interfering with the nature, that is something that is like the 40% of the time when the human, I would say, is wrong.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. It even applies to like the beaches that we have. Beaches are extremely beautiful, say in the mornings, or once they are cleaned up. But as people start to move in and they want to have like a ice cream pop at the beach, or they want to have a samosa at the beach, the scene doesn't look that much pretty soon after that. So that's one other part that also needs to be taken care of. It's any way we are interacting with nature, we have to take care of. Like nature, it also exists. We do not exist by ourselves. We exist along with nature. So we should be helping each other out. They help us by providing such beautiful scenic sites that we can look at and that we can go to and have those pleasures of viewing them and enjoying them. But we also need to take care of going the extra mile in taking care of reducing any of the waste that we are actually producing at those sites and making sure it's done in a proper and controlled manner.
Yes, we should try to limit our access, and we should try to be wise that we should not litter around the places we try to visit, like the beaches. They are much more beautiful than when there is not much people around the beach, and when people start coming to the beach from morning to night, they come there, they sit on the beaches, try to eat of something, throw the wrappers there, and there may be there may be these kind of problems because not much people are so much educated that they can know, but there are many, but the beach administrations are also trying to educate people that they should not throw litters or garbage. There are separate bins kept there. You should try to conserve the beaches as far as possible. You should just try to be wanting to visit the beaches to enjoy it. First of all, I must say that many of the places which we try to visit, we just don't think that we should enjoy it. We should also try to conserve it, because when we are visiting a place, we should think about the future generations who may not get to see this kind of beauty if we try to litter these kind of places. So I think that it's a responsibility of all the citizens, of all the people who come to visit any of the natural beauty site, to conserve it, so that because we saw it, so we should also try to let others see it, other future generations also see it, and try to conserve it as far as possible. Because these because as because if the natural beauty of a place starts to deplete, it begins depleting at a slow rate. But as time goes on, its depletion gets on faster and faster, and within no time the natural beauty will be totally hampered, totally lost away. So I think that we have much of a time left with us, and we should try to conserve the beauty of the nature. We should try to undo the bad things we have done to the nature, try to remove the industrialized area out of natural places which are still in a good state. I mean, some of the places are totally totally changed. They are totally into they're totally transformed into industrial areas. Those places cannot be changed. I feel very sorry about those places, but we have still time. We should try to look for the. We should not try to look at these beautiful areas just for granted. We should think that these are the places which we have got only for fun. And when we think that we are given these gifts of nature by God, then we will also try to conserve these places. So I think that as far as natural beauty conservation is at the point of view, we should try to restrict our access to those areas. And if we are going there, then we should try not to litter it and not to hamper its beauty.
Right. And I guess this will start with the proper education and the proper mindset. Even the people are educated, but they are not following what is correct, because they are not, I guess they are not taught in that way that this is wrong. Their eyes are still shut about how the humans are actually impacting the beautiful nature. So it's not about the education that they have, it's also about the mentality that have been set for them from their childhood. So it's all about that we give them the education, yes, the bookish knowledge, yes, but also the knowledge to, as Vardhan said, to preserve. Wherever you are going, you are getting a gift to see that beautiful scenic area, whether it is a beach as you mentioned, Pratik, or as Vardhan mentioned, as a Switzerland, or maybe say Badrinath, Kedarnath, Jammu Kashmir. So all the beautiful places around, all the religious places, all the beautiful places around, it's our duty that if we are going there, visiting the places, then we should, it is our right to go there. As we said that right and duty go hand in hand, so it's our right to go there, visit it, enjoy it, but on the same hand, it is our duty to preserve it. And do not split any litters around, do not scratch any beautiful thing, as as Pratik mentioned, that the beautiful things also include our monuments. So we should also preserve them, because those are also ancient.
Yes.
So, and those are man-made ancient stuffs that are so beautiful. So we shouldn't scratch them, write our names on them, litter them, or destroy them for any of the kinds. So I guess this is what I think, that we should be responsible of what we are doing, along with when we are enjoying the nature.
Right. And I heard of a very nice quote about this as well. If you can see natural beauty of a place is not so good anymore, it's already pretty late.
Yes, because we are the only ones who are destroying the natural beauty. First we enjoy, but then we don't conserve it. So it's our own duty. We should try to conserve it as far as possible. And monuments are also a part of natural beauty. They are made up of the fine quality materials which are not even in our use at this time. Those kind of materials are our history, they are traditions, our cultures, and we should try to preserve them too. Yes, as you gave the example of Taj Mahal, the Taj Mahal is a tradition, it's a history, a culture, and the government is trying to preserve it as far as possible, but we cannot just transform the whole Taj Mahal, because that will be of no use. The Taj Mahal has been built about 400 to 500 years ago, and its marble is it was a fine quality marble. So at this time it is still present, even if 1,000 visitors come to visit the Taj Mahal at the same time. So I think that we should first restrict the access of humans. All of the people who visit there should also understand the things that really matter to them. It's not much about your right or my right to visit the places. Even if I am allowed to even if I purchase the ticket of Taj Mahal today and I am allowed to go tomorrow, then I shouldn't feel disheartened, because it's our own duty. It doesn't matter whether you go to see that first or I go to see that first. We both see that, and that all matters. But what matters the most is that we perform that duty to conserve the monument, to conserve the natural beauty. So I think that there should be a limited amount of population which should be allowed to go at these kind of natural places, because if we want to conserve them, then we have to limit our access, because these kind of places are mostly remote areas, are mostly on the are mostly isolated. So if we restrict our access, we can preserve.
Yes. So I guess we all agree on this. So our today's topic was that the beautiful places on earth are beautiful because of less intervention from humans, and I guess we all three accept the fact that yes, it is us
Yeah,
who are
totally.
actually destroying or interfering into the beautiful nature. And now I guess it's high time that we understand that it's our duty to preserve the natural beauty, our monuments, our ancient historic stuffs, our beautiful temples, our religious places, everything that is ancient and that brings, I would say, that actually completes us as a humans. We should preserve it.
Yes.
Yes, because we are the only ones who are hampering these kind of natural beauties, natural resources, and there are many efforts done by many organizations, many NGOs. The UN also is trying to preserve the natural resources. That's why it makes a list of the natural resources of each and every country, of each and every place around the world, which is really beautiful, and people should not try to intervene. There have been many conferences which are undertaken by the UN to preserve. Many great environmentalists come to the UN, try to put up their views how we can conserve, how we can preserve these natural beauties. What can the different ways, what can the possible outcomes of these kind of ways can be. So I think that many of the organizations, the NGOs, the UN are trying to place it up all together so that we can preserve our natural beauty. We can make nature, we can preserve nature, or we'll be vilified by it.
Yeah, I guess I totally agree with you, and thank you, Vardhan, for adding this point. What we have already started
Yes.
on doing to preserve the nature. So we actually left this point. It's a very important point that yes, people have like started opening their eyes into this aspect, and they've started realizing what bad they have already done, and they don't want to do it further. So they've started taking steps in that front. And I hope that everybody on their end starts to understand the responsibility they have as an individual towards the nature around. So
Yes, it is our own duty to preserve the nature as far as possible. So I would like to summarize our whole points about the discussion we have done today. So I can say that we should try to preserve the nature as far as possible. We should restrict our access to these kind of places. They are really beautiful. We can visit them, but we should try to visit them in a with a limited amount of population going there at each and every time. And we should just be happy that even if we don't get to see these places are our history, our nature, and we should try to be happy about each of these things. And if we ever get a chance to preserve nature in our life, if we ever get a chance to be related to an organization which is helping to preserve nature, then we should try to be a part of it, and we should try to do our duty towards protecting our nature.
yes. So
Beautifully said,
beautiful,
Vardhan.
yes. And thanks a lot, Vardhan, to summarize it so beautifully, our today's discussion. And with this, we will end our today's video, and we will see, and I'll see both of you next time
Yeah.
soon. So yeah, take care. Enjoy your weekend. It's Friday, so enjoy your weekend, guys. Yeah, and we'll come back with a new good idea, a topic of discussion. So okay, see you later then.
Bye.
Bye bye.